Aloha, shalom. Just getting you guys set up here. It is the 5th night of Hanukkah, so to anyone who's celebrating, happy Hanukkah. I do have a video on my wall, also on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RebeccaMagic, all about Hanukkah. So even if you've never celebrated before, if you want to understand why Hanukkah is actually a holiday for anyone who wants to participate, go ahead and check out that video. It's called The Kabbalah of Hanukkah. Whew. So today was a solar eclipse. It is a new moon. So for those of you guys who are new to these activations, which have been going on for now almost 4 years, by the way, every single week, for those of you who are new to these activations, it actually has nothing to do with the moon. The moon is just used as a measurement of time. So the moon is reflecting something that's happening inside of us and something that's happening back of all creation. So the new moon is always a time where things are new. It's a new beginning. It's an initiation into a new cycle. There are lessons that we just recently closed up. And there are new lessons that we're beginning. So that's what the new moon is a reflection of. And whenever there's an eclipse, it's just extra powerful energy, supercharged. You don't need to complicate things. You don't need to overanalyze. Why? What does it mean? It's just powerful. It's a powerful time of alignment. So for those of you guys tuning in right now, why don't you go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from. Someone said Mississippi. I'm tuning in from Sedona, Arizona, as usual. The land of the vortices. But remember, you are the vortex wherever you are. So while I'm shuffling the cards and shuffling y'all into the deck, just go ahead and drop a comment and let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. And as you see the comments popping up of where everyone is tuning in from all over the world, you'll see that this is the grid of light we are creating in a very real way right now. Awesome. See more people tuning in. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Ontario, Canada, Ohio, Australia, Wisconsin. Beautiful. Minneapolis. Awesome. Toronto. Sweet. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Texas. Awesome. So the Phoenix. Awesome. The grid is now being created. This activation is already being initiated. Kansas City, California. So whatever you've been carrying with you all day, let it go. Now is the moment. Even if it's something that all day you couldn't let go. Even if it's something that all week you couldn't let go. Even if it's something you've been holding on to for weeks, months, all year. I'm just asking for this moment that you let it go. Just for this moment. You can pick it back up if you'd like to after the activation, but for right now, let's open up to receive this incoming message so that we can use this information in a way that's going to be the most helpful, not just for ourselves as individuals, but for each other, you know, for as a collective unit. Oregon, Queens, New York, another New York, Alabama, another Oregon. Awesome. So check it out, y'all. We're really spreading the light across the world. Awesome. And I want you guys to all, in this one moment, acknowledge with me. I invite you to acknowledge with me in this moment. All of these people that are tuning in are meeting you in this frequency, meeting me, meeting us in this frequency right now. How powerful is that? Can we just add that awareness onto what is already organically unfolding right here? Maryland, Virginia, we are connecting. We are creating a grid of light across the world. This is not just America. We have people from all over the world tuning in right now. And these are brothers and sisters who are meeting you right here, right now, in this sacred space. So powerful. If you have any favorite groups, or if you have a friend or a family member that you know could benefit from watching this live video, receiving this activation, this attunement, go ahead and share it right now while it's still live. See who will join in our network and help to spread the light. And even if you don't send it right now while it's still live, people can catch the recording later, and you're welcome to share this message with whomever you think could enhance this grid that we're now creating, or whomever could use the extra support. How powerful. Thank y'all for meeting me here right now. I really need this activation. And I know you're here because you want or need it too. So thanks for joining me. All right, now I'm going to shuffle just a little bit more here. Go ahead and connect to the deck however you know how. Use your imagination. The mind is all. So see yourself shrinking and jumping into the deck, or see yourself sending a web of light from your inner eye to the deck. See yourself here in this room with me right now. See yourself holding hands with everybody who is watching live right now, or holding hands with everyone in the world. Whatever you want to do to just drop in, connect, tune in, here, now. All right. So what's the challenge that, ooh, this feels really clear. What's the challenge that we have carried in from last cycle into this one? Because there's something, I see there's something that we're carrying in. And what's happening is we're going to carry this thing, whatever it is, right, individually and collectively, from our last cycle into this new cycle, because we're now going to heal it from a more powerful perspective than ever. It's almost like, okay, we had this struggle going on and we had to wait for this new moon, new beginning, solar eclipse, whatever this alignment is reflecting. We had to wait for this power boost, this support, in order to really blast through whatever it is we've been carrying. So what's that thing we've been carrying? And what's the thing that this month will bring us once we do that work? I saw that really clearly. I know that's very specific information, but I saw that really clearly right now. So if you resonate with that, please let me know. Drop a comment. Let me know that you feel that. You've been struggling with letting go of something. And we're about to see what the root of that is and how we are all experiencing it in our own way. All right, here we go. The struggle. Boom, boom, boom. So we're starting off with a major arcanum card. It's the Wheel of Fortune. This is a very powerful card, right? It's one of the trump cards. This is so perfect for right now, and I'm seeing so many connections as to why. Certainly, we've been struggling to turn the wheel, to begin anew, to let go of some things that we know once we let go, it's a whole new cycle for us. It's a whole new beginning for us. It's also on the Gregorian calendar, that time where we're approaching the new year. You know, as a collective consciousness, we're all focused on this Gregorian calendar, right? We're on that sort of timeline together. We're riding that wave together. And so that Gregorian New Year is coming up. And so, of course, we're carrying this into the final month of the year, the final cycle, right? If there was ever a time for a new beginning, it's now. And maybe we struggled this past month, this past cycle, with really accepting what needed to be changed, right? It's almost like the lesson of the month has really just been around processing it and not yet acting. Like this whole cycle has been about just first actually identifying 100% with that thing that needs to be changed so that we can grow, so that we can move on to a new cycle. And now the real work is to be done. Now the real work is to be done. So this is super powerful message that we're starting this reading off with here. It's very clear. We've been struggling with letting go of those things we know we need to. We've been struggling with initiating this new beginning for whatever reasons, right? We all have our reasons. Let's talk a little bit more about this card. First of all, I want to point out that these 4 beings at the corners of the card represent the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, ultimately being the space holders for the rest of the wheel, right? And they represent the 4 qualities that one needs to cultivate on the path of adeptship, on the path of progression, spiritually and psychologically speaking. We have Aquarius and Leo, and then we have Scorpio and Taurus, the two pairs of opposites that make up the four fixed signs or pillars of the zodiac. Aquarius would represent that progressiveness, the intellectual. So Aquarius there represents, or the man on this card, who is seen right here, represents the intellect, knowledge, and wisdom together. And then below it here, catty-cornered, right, because they're opposites, we have Leo representing courage and heart. Obviously another necessary quality to cultivate on this path, right? And then we have the eagle here representing Scorpio, the higher aspect of the Scorpio, representing the purified desires. And then we have Taurus here, opposite, representing steadfastness, effort, work on the path, because it does require that. The path does require that. So these four things are really just showing us that we have everything we need within us to succeed and to progress. We have everything we need. So right off the bat, right there, when we affirm that, I have everything I need within me to move ahead, we can neutralize whatever programs are in there that are disagreeing with that are limiting us from moving ahead. So for some reason, we may have been telling ourselves, even in a deep subconscious place, maybe not even from experiences that happened in this lifetime, but who knows, maybe from a different lifetime, right? It doesn't matter. The point is we might have these subconscious limitations playing out in our minds. And so when we affirm that we have all that we need within us, we neutralize that voice inside that might secretly be saying to you, right? It's like this voice of the ego saying, I'm not strong enough. I'm not brave enough. I don't have what it takes to do the work. I'm not pure. I can't purify my desires. I have an addiction, perhaps, right? And if we're telling ourselves that story, I have an addiction, we are affirming the opposite of what we want to be affirming. We may be saying, I'm not smart enough. I don't have the wisdom. I don't have the knowledge. And so if we're saying any of those things to ourselves, we're doing the opposite of what we want to be doing, which is affirming that we do have all of these things within us. We do have the power to proceed. And we can't be thinking both at the same time, otherwise we are conflicted inside, and that reflects on the outside. So that's it right there. If we just focus on this mantra, or on filling ourselves with the frequency of this knowing that I do have all that it takes necessary on the path to proceed, to progress. I do. And if we really stay with that, then all those opposing thoughts start to melt away. They become dismantled. They become neutralized. And there's no way around that. This is science. This is the way that energy works. This is the way it goes. Okay, the other thing I want to point out is that in the World card, 21, where we reach that level of success, right? Because the tarot is a story. So when we get to card 21, it's like, yay, I've manifested what it is I've been working to manifest, right? But while we're still at the wheel, which looks very much like the World card, by the way, very similar. You even see these four signs in the World card. But here, they have wings. And they also have books. Whereas in the World card, they don't have the wings and they don't have books. And what that is showing is the progression of how we study, right, the books. We study these qualities within ourselves. We deepen them. We strengthen them. But they're still in the astral realm. That's why they have wings. They're not fully integrated yet. And then when we get to the World card, by that point in the story, it's showing that we will have integrated these aspects. That we're on our way to integrating these aspects. That is what is to come. We have to know and believe and be convicted in this belief that we absolutely can get there, that we will get there. So if you have your cards, you can look at card 21, or you're welcome to Google the World card and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's these same four figures, but they don't have wings and they don't have books because they have been integrated through you and actualized through you. Okay, another aspect of this card is what is the Wheel of Fortune? What does that even mean, right? It's saying that we have the ability to take the wheel of our lives. We have the ability to direct our fortune and our fate. And if you think of the sages of the olden days, what would they do? They would look to the stars. They would look to the skies. They would look to nature. And they would rely on these most powerful and consistent patterns and reflections of our own selves, right? Because that's what nature is, a reflection of self. They would rely on those reflections, and they would direct their fate through this reliance upon these reflections. They would base their strategies, their plans around these patterns. They would use these patterns to calculate their success. And so one interesting thing that keeps coming to mind is what they would do is they would see if it's an inopportune time to act, they would have prudence. Who, by the way, prudence goes with the sage or the hermit, who is number 9, comes right before the wheel. Because you need to have that initiation with prudence. You need to have that prudence when you come to the wheel so that you know when the right time to act is. Because sometimes we look to the stars, we look to nature, and we see, oh, it's not time to act yet. So I want to say perhaps there is this higher intelligence that didn't allow us to take the steps yet, this past cycle, to initiate this new beginning because it wasn't the perfect time. It wasn't the right timing. And obviously that's so. If it didn't happen yet, it wasn't meant to, right? Because everything is in divine order. In fact, the postman at the post office today gave me a little note. He said, "This is for you." And that's what it said on there. Everything is in divine order. And I said, "Absolutely. Do you believe?" And he said, "Of course." And so perhaps that's why we haven't taken the wheel yet. It just wasn't time, right? So it's important to understand that aspect of this card. If we are to direct our fate, we must have prudence. We must act strategically. And it would be best if we were to look to the cycles and seasons, rhythms within nature, to base our calculations when forming these strategies of how we're going to move ahead. Okay, I also want to point out T-A-R-O-T, tarot, T-O-R-A, Torah, which means law, R-O-T-A, rota, which means rotate, spin, A-T-O-R, Ator, or Hathor, goddess of love, right? These different configurations, they tell a story. It's saying that the tarot is a spinning, cyclical story. Oh yeah, O-R-A-T, orat, oration. Orat is to tell. So we're telling a story of cyclical law. That's what we're doing. Okay, and then the Sphinx up here. By the way, the Sphinx, in case you didn't know, the Sphinx of Egypt is a combination of these 4 creatures here that represent the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. It's those creatures put together as one. So really the Sphinx represents the passage of time. The Sphinx represents the entire zodiac wheel. And here you see the Sphinx is blending with the sky. Another sign that we are one with nature, and we have to look to nature as our most reliable source for when we are formulating a plan or strategy. When we are taking the wheel and directing our fate, nature is our friend. Nature is an open book revealing the laws of God, of the universe. So this has been our challenge, and this is what we're carrying through into this month, and this is what we're going to finally take on with more power and support than ever before, and it's coming in today. Do you feel it? Are you open to receiving it? It's time. That new beginning you've been holding back, it's time. And you've been holding it back for all the perfect reasons. It's all in divine order. Where are we going to find ourselves when we finally initiate this new beginning? When we finally turn the wheel, take a turn? Seven of Cups. And this is all about meditation, tuning in. It's about illusions, navigating them with the heart. because cups is the suit of emotions. It's a suit of water. It's the heart. Okay, sevens are about success, moving toward completion. And you can see there's many different things. Each of the cups holds something different. And it's about looking within, going within, tuning into your heart and asking, what really do I want? What really is going to bring me fulfillment? What do I have to let go of so that I don't attract that same old cycle again? Okay? Because it's all good to like have a new beginning. It's all good to like think you're starting, you know, you're turning a new leaf. But then if you don't reprogram your thoughts around the truth of the new or true you, the real authentic you, then you're just going to recreate that world, and you're not actually stepping into a new one. You're not actually initiating a new cycle. So what's going to happen when we claim this new beginning is we're going to be faced with the restructuring of the mind, the restructuring of the life. Starting that new beginning is great, but it's only the beginning, right? It's like then there's all the work to be done. So that's what it's going to be about, is asking ourselves, okay, now that I've decided that I'm stepping into this new beginning, how can I remain observant of my thoughts and my emotions? Because they're going to tell me a story. Each time they come up, they're going to tell me about what I believe is true, is real, is what I want. And then from there, I'm going to have to remain observant, remain present, and work through that. I'm going to have that inner dialogue, right? Because there's going to be some of the old me still coming up, like, I want this, or I should say this, or I should say that. And we're going to have that dialogue, you know, with the different parts of ourselves. And certain parts of ourselves are going to have to turn to the old parts of ourselves and say, no, we actually don't want that anymore, because that's going to recreate the thing that we tried so hard to let go of. No, we don't want that anymore. No, we can't think like this anymore, because then it's going to bring us right back to where we started. So let's think this instead, right? It's like this talk that's going to happen within your inner archetypal alliance. It's like you have these inner allies and they need to speak. So don't expect everything to be perfect when you start this new beginning. Again, it's only the beginning. That's where the work is going to come up. Don't give up. Don't give up. You can't escape this work. We can't escape this work. We have to face it. So we may as well right now, at the very beginning, when we're about to step in that door, affirm that we know what's coming. Okay, we know what's ahead. It's not necessarily going to be butterflies and rainbows. And that is okay, because it has to be okay. Otherwise, we must accept that we're going to forever be stuck in that old world, because we're going to keep recreating it for ourselves. We have to be accepting of the work that we know is inevitable. And actually, we're at the 5th night of Hanukkah, and this really is the message of Hanukkah, you guys. It's an extension of the light. It's a spilling over of the light. And it's a time when we're supposed to open to receive this extra light for the inevitable challenges to come. Because yes, we're celebrating, oh, it's a festival of lights, but we know that's not forever. We know there are going to be more challenges. And that's okay, because we are celebrating in this moment, and we are taking in that extra light, and we are prepared for whatever is to come. So this message of Hanukkah is essentially really quite fitting for this activation. The work is going to come, you guys. We're going to have to purify our desires. We're going to have to redirect our energies mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We're going to have to redirect these energies to support the manifestation of the new fortune we want to attract, the new cycle we wish to experience. And something that's coming through really clear for this one right now is we don't want to just ask for a new cycle that's going to be pleasurable. Like, pleasurable for who? For the one? Okay, great. But we don't want to design a future that is just going to satisfy us temporarily, right? we want to manifest a future that is going to give us opportunities to grow and learn and be a better us. It's like we don't ask God to make things easy, right? We ask God to give us the strength to get through whatever comes our way. I don't want it easy. It's not why I came here. It's not why we came here. We came here to this earthly experience so that we could go through the challenges and grow through these challenges. Your higher self doesn't sit there and go, make it easy on me. Make it easy, please. That's not why you're here. Everything's already easy and perfect in another dimension. That's not why you're in this one. We're here to do the work, right? Which is represented by that bull in the corner there, the hard work of Taurus that we have within each one of us. So as we initiate this new cycle, may we acknowledge that yes, there are going to be challenges, and yes, they're going to be tailor-made for us, for each one of us on our path. So while we consider what we want to manifest for this new cycle, may we first have the foundational knowing of what lessons we need to attract. In what ways do I need to grow? In what ways could I be a better me? And then what experiences might help me to grow in those ways and learn in those ways? Okay, those are the experiences I'm going to ask for. And I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be prepared because I'm asking for it consciously. And as those things come up, as I face those challenges, I will remember this moment that I prayed for those things. I will remember asking for it, and I won't shy away, and I won't cower in fear, and I won't make up excuses or try to justify running away. I will stand and I will face it. And I will more than know, I will be certain that everything I'm receiving, of course, I asked for. I will connect this prayer to that manifestation. I will take accountability. And with that strength of my certainty, I will power through it. That's what we have to do. So perhaps you've been afraid of this new cycle, but it's fast approaching. So may we release that fear, and with our conscious awareness, willfully initiate this new cycle. More gracefully surrendering it now, more gracefully than ever, because we can see a new cycle ahead, and we can see that it's going to be in divine order, and it's going to bring us exactly what we need to learn and grow and get rid of the illusions, those things that we thought were going to bring us happiness, those things that we thought were going to bring us fulfillment. And instead, start purifying our desires, redirecting our energies to manifest those opportunities that are going to bring us not just temporary or physical satisfaction, but soulful, spiritual growth. And perhaps we'll even set the stage for the growth of the generations to come. You see, it's like, this is us being like, all right, I'm going to take the wheel, time to start a new beginning. And this is us being like, whoa, okay, there's the work I got to do to actualize this new beginning, new reality. And so I'm starting to see through the BS and see, like that snake up there, right? For example, we could say I'm starting to see where my addictions were telling a story of an old me, where my impure desires were leading me to make poor choices and go for the wrong relationships, give my energy to the wrong people for the wrong reasons, right? There's a dragon down here, there's a castle. Oh, I really want this huge castle house. I want the fancy Mercedes or the whatever, this or that, right? Oh, that's an illusion. I don't need that. Okay? So it's really recollecting your energy, telling yourself, I'm not going to waste it anymore on futile pursuits. I'm not going to give my heart, my blood, sweat, and tears to a situation that is so impermanent and is really not feeding my soul or feeding the highest good of the one. And I'm going to start to pour my heart into those things that I know will bring that growth for me and for the one. even if it's scary, even if I know it's going to be difficult. Because the truth is, I know it's what needs to be done. Okay. What's the number? I'm going to pull one more card, you guys. What's the number one strength we have right now, despite this fear of this new beginning, despite this like paralyzing fear, like I'm scared to turn the wheel, right? Despite all that, what is our strength right now? What's the strength or the ally that comes easily to us in this time as a collective? Woo, baby! I knew there was another one. Yes! So we have another major arcanum card. So 2 out of these 3 cards for this reading are major arcana or major arcanum cards, trump cards. Come on, guys. Could there be a better message? So this actually summarizes a couple of things that we already spoke about and just ties it all in together in a really beautiful way. So if this is the strength that comes easily to us, I mean, duh, of course, absolutely. This is our strength. What is the Fool about? The Fool is, first of all, you see the sun at zenith right here. It's white. It's the spiritual sun. It's not just our physical sun. Okay, it's saying that we are connected to this source. We are connected to this infinite source. That's what the 0 or O is. Okay? We are connected to this infinite source. We have everything we need within us. Look at him. He's a minimalist. He has this tiny little bag and he's traveling on this great journey. Right? It's like the hero's journey. All he has is a little satchel here showing that he has everything he needs within him. Okay, he's got this white rose in his hand, purity and innocence. He's got the white dog at his feet, white, purity, innocence. Also dog, loyal companion, always at our side. That's source, right? The white connected to the white of the spiritual sun. He's about to jump off that cliff, but there could be another landing there. We don't know. But the point is the universe doesn't put out the net until you jump, right? And so the Fool trusts in his intuition. He knows that his innocence, this is one of my favorite quotes, innocence shines like polished armor. It adorns and defends. He knows this is his strength. He knows he's connected to source. And he's always ready for that new beginning. How beautiful is that, right? It's like, we've been afraid for this new beginning. But why? Why should we be afraid? We got to remember our strength is the Fool. Always ready to start anew. Not worrying about the treacherous path there. Of course, the ups and downs are inevitable. But I'm still going to take the first step. I'm not going to stand here paralyzed in fear. So who is a better ally? I couldn't think of one. This is perfect, right? As we're about to spin the wheel, as we're about to take hold of the wheel and start anew. It's the Fool that's going to get us through. And so remember also, as we approach this time, after we spin that wheel and we start doing the work, remember the Fool. He has that innocence. He has that purity. He is committed and loyal to God, Great Spirit, Hashem, Allah, whatever you want to call it. Loyal to the path. So he has everything he needs to go through this. If he can reconnect to source, if he can reconnect to his innocence, devotion, trust in divine order, because that's what the Fool is, trust in divine order. If he can trust and stay in this, look at all that yellow, stay in this illuminated space, then he will blast through these challenges. He will remember what is real. He will remember what the heart is really about. And he will, with grace and with ease, let go of all of those illusions, let go of all those things he thought he wanted, because he remembers why he's really here now. And not just what he wants, but what the One wants. He remembers that we must unite our small will to the will of the divine if we wish to truly blast through these challenges and make changes that are sustainable, again, for the next 7 generations. So, there couldn't be a better ally. Remember, this Fool is truly always with you. You have everything you need within you. You are connected to this infinite source. Your innocence is always there. Tap in. I had a great talk. It was, I don't know how many years ago now. It was 12 years ago, 13 years ago in college. I'll never forget, the English professor asked, what do you guys think? Can innocence be regained? And I'm like, it's always there. I'll never forget that conversation. It had such an impact. I'm like, it's always there. It's never gone. It just needs to be uncovered, polished. It needs to shine through all the muck. So we need to release that muck. We need to wash it away, purify. And there the innocence is. It's eternal. It's eternal. And so you always have the ability to reconnect to that trust, that innocence, that devotion to the true and highest path. You are connected to Source. Even when you don't feel it, when you're feeling your lowest, you're still connected. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. This is fact. This is science. This is universal and ultimate truth. So if you need to put the Fool on your altar, print him out, grab a card from your deck. Maybe if there are symbols or colors or crystals or herbs or whatever that you feel are connected to the frequency of the Fool, put them on your new moon altar. Put them next to your bed if you don't have an altar. Put them in your car. Put them wherever you are. Remember your strength. You have everything you need to spin that wheel and get ready for the new. And you have everything you need for the challenges that are inevitably going to follow. Take the wheel. Do the work. Start anew. Thank you guys for tuning in to this activation, for opening up this portal with me. Again, if you have any friends or family, Facebook groups, anyone that you think could benefit from this message or enhance this portal that we've opened up tonight, go ahead and send it to them, share it with them. And if you guys are new to this, we do these every week, okay? So it's according to the 4 quarters of the moon. We use the moon as a measurement of time to gather these 4 times a month. So join us. They've been going on for 4 years. You can find me on youtube.com/RebeccaMagic, or you can find me here on Facebook. This is where I go live, and then the videos get loaded there. Also, if you like this style of tarot, I call it Kabbalistic Tarot. It gets to the root of things. If you like this and you want to learn how to connect to the cards or these archetypes that are within you, then go ahead and ask me about my book. It's called The Royal Path. I published it in March, and it's for people wherever you're at on your path, whether you're a beginner or you're a professional. It's a unique perspective that is quite straightforward, and it helps you to connect to the frequency of each of these characters that you see represented in the cards. The tarot is not just a deck of cards. Tarot means royal path, and that is all of life. We are all on this path. There is only one. So if you want to connect to these archetypal frequencies, which, by the way, are the building blocks of all of creation, you may want to check out my perspective on the tarot, as I've written it and shared in my book, The Royal Path. You can find it on Amazon. You can type in The Royal Path Activating, and it will come up because the full title is The Royal Path Activating the Archetypal Alliance Within. You can also order directly from me. Go ahead and reach out. I do have 2 private groups if you want to stay connected. One is called The Royal Path, you guessed it, and the other is called Shabbat Crew. So if you're interested in Kabbalah or Jewish mysticism, if you want to get on the Hanukkah bandwagon, I've been sharing a lot in that group, Shabbat Crew. I also share every Friday night for Shabbat. I share the current Torah story and the mystical import for that story, the lesson. So I'd love for you to join me. I also have a couple of other offerings right now for the holidays, so I just wanted to remind you guys I do have steams that I make, custom herbal steams. My favorite one is called the Fountain of Youth Facial Steam. I've been making that one for some years now, and it is amazing, not just for your skin, but also for your lungs and for your brain, your mental clarity. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there, including Egyptian blue lotus. There's also hibiscus, which is known as the Botox plant. There's green tea and turmeric, and a list of really wonderful ingredients. So reach out if you want to know more about that. And I do still have some magician's kits left. Those are the tiny little things you put on your altar. There's a little item for each of the 4 elements, just like you see on the magician's card. There's a sword, a chalice, a pentacle, and a wand. So those are super fun. Let me know if you want those for your altar. I keep one on my altar. And I'm also still doing personalized tarot cards, decorating them for your altar. So reach out if any of that sounds like something you want for yourself or maybe for someone that you've been trying to think of a gift idea for, because we all know how hard it can be to think of the perfect gift for someone. I still am doing one-on-one readings. I do take appointments and I'm booked some weeks out. So if you wanted to get a reading for yourself or for someone you love, they're a very personal and wonderful gift that keeps on giving, because it's the gift of expansion of the mind and the spirit. And so that gift keeps on giving. If this is something you want to do, go ahead and reach out, book with me. I am filling up. And if I haven't gotten back to you, please message me again. I lose a lot of messages in my inbox. They get buried. So reach out anytime. I'm here for you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful Hanukkah. I'll see y'all on Friday in the Shabbat Crew group to discuss the current Torah story. Shalom.